Alright guys, welcome to this week's episode. Today we're going to be discussing frost seeding. It's March now, as crazy as that seems. But we're going to go ahead today. We're going to take advantage of these freezing and thawing cycles that we have going on. It's 55 right now. It's going to be probably close to 30 tonight. So to start this off, let's go ahead and explain what frost seeding is. And then we'll talk about the benefits of frost seeding, cool season perennials in your food sources, versus waiting to like late spring, early summer to plant them. So for frost seeding, guys, you're doing something like a clover, a chicory, or an alfalfa. I try to stay away from alfalfa just because here in the central part of Illinois, we get cold temps early in the fall, and usually that alfalfa dies off. The chicory and clover, though, we've seen it go all the way through November, so we have much better luck running clover and chicory in our food plots than we do adding alfalfa. But if you are somewhere down south and you want to do alfalfa, you can still do the same method for alfalfa as well. Any cool season perennial. So what you're doing is you're going to take like a broadcast seeder, even if you have a spreader on the back of your four-wheeler, but something where you're using a broadcast method to get seed in the ground. And what you're going to do, it's simple. You take your clover, you walk your food plot, you broadcast your seed on top of the soil, and then what you're doing is you're using the thawing and freezing cycle. Like today, it's thawing. So that seed's going to sit there. It's going to keep thawing throughout the day. It's going to add moisture to your seed. As soon as you hit the right temperature, that seed's going to germinate. And then tonight, what's going to happen is it's going to freeze and everything's going to shrink back up, and that seed's going to slowly get sucked into the soil. And when it gets sucked into the soil, you'll have good seed to soil contact, which is going to make for a good food plot. So that's how you frost seed. When do you frost seed? So typically, guys, here in Illinois, we frost seed probably about March. March is usually good. Sometimes it could even be a little later. Last year, we had cold temps all the way through April, and it could happen again. So I try not to jump the gun on it because I don't want to be frost seeding in the snow. I like to wait till it's like in the 50s, 60s, and then 30s at night. And that's what we got right now. So this is the perfect time to frost seed. So what are the benefits of frost seeding? Well, one of the major benefits of frost seeding is that you don't have the weed competition that you're going to have in the spring and summer months. So you're getting that seed in the ground when there's low competition and it's germinating before all your broadleaf weeds and your grasses. We use no-till for everything. So the nice thing and the benefit of doing no-till and doing this method is that I'm not turning the soil over, introducing new seeds to germinate. So my method right now, guys, is I've been doing radish in this, tillage radish and cereal rye. And the tillage radish is breaking up the compaction layer, and the cereal rye is building a good root structure underneath the soil. When the woods are bare and there's no other green food available, this makes for a good food source. Makes for a really good turkey plot, makes for a good deer plot, and it also is going to help keep the weeds down. So by having the cereal rye in here and coming in early and frost seeding, we're going to get our clover established. The cereal rye is going to suppress weeds, and then later on this summer, when the cereal rye gets to maturity and it's going to make seed heads, right before those seed heads are viable, I'm going to come in here, I'm going to mow this, and then I'm just going to have a nice stand of clover in here. That's a great way of doing it. So I've suppressed weeds, I've got a good clover stand, and then if I really want to, if I'm worried that the clover's not going to make it far enough into the deer season, like late season, and I want a winter rye, I can come back through early fall and I can broadcast cereal rye in here. And then I'll have my clover October, November, and I'll have my cereal grain again come December and January. Then when it comes time to turkey hunt, guess what? You got an early food source. In Illinois, we turkey hunt, we start in the middle of April. And what I've noticed, guys, is that the clover, it'll germinate in April, but it's not a real good stand. It doesn't make for a good hunting situation, where the cereal grain starts in February and it's nice and tall. It's still short enough that it's tender and the turkeys are bugging around in it. It just makes for a really good turkey plot versus the clover that doesn't really get going good till May, right when turkey season ends. So if you're somebody trying to turkey hunt over a food plot, I highly recommend planting winter rye in your fall plots. Add that in, and then look at this. It's only March right now. By April, this is going to be green, lush. We're going to have a little bit of clover in here, but we're going to have a lot of cereal grain in here. That's one of the benefits to using blends or adding more than just one type of seed into a food source. Try to come up with a system and then keep rotating that system. You're benefiting your soil by doing that, and also you're creating really good hunting opportunities. So guys, if you haven't already, get out there. This is the perfect time to frost seed in your cool season perennials. I hope this helps you out this coming season. And if you guys have any questions on frost seeding, just leave a comment below for me and we'll get to you as soon as we can. Thanks for tuning in on this week's episode. We'll be back next Friday.